When I come into the city centre, I like to feel that this is a place where I belong. And where I really get that feeling is around the monument area, because that is like a kind of hub. And whichever direction you look in, you can see things of interest. There's the library and the art gallery and the theatre, but there's also the shopping area, which is probably the main reason you've come into the city centre. But also there's a lot of movement of people around.
I really like Eldon Square because it's big and it's got a wide variety of shops where we can just go and hang out and maybe buy a few items which we need. And it's quite simple as well, so it's easy to get to.
And it's quite safe as well, like there's no like clubs or bars in Eldon Square, so like there's gonna be safe for all ages and be friendly to everyone.
But when you go, you were saying at the Theatre Royal it was very good.
Yes, they have captions up, and that was split.
That was very good.
Yes, I went to As You Like It, and there were captions on both sides of the auditorium.
And for films, you'd like some more?
I would like more subtitles for films, yes. I find films very difficult. Not so much I can't hear, but I can't decipher what they're saying. So that subtitles
would be a great help to get the gist of the story.
Yes.
What I like about Newcastle City is that it's easy to get around in, and also legs. And that means I've only got one road to cross. The staff are helpful when they say it's coming in. It's like usual sandwich.
I have a walker with 3 wheels, which is just as well, because I have had an experience of just going around with a stick and I had a nasty accident. So I thought next time I'll come with my walker, which really made me realise that I was getting old in my bones, although my head wasn't old as I thought. But the worst parts are the knobble bits coming up to the traffic lights and the crossings for the blind people, because I appreciate they have to know that they're in danger, but to me, those knobbles, when you can't lift your legs as high as anybody else can, they catch your shoes and it makes you unsteady. So I think something perhaps could be designed that's not quite so aggressive. And I find the fact that the pavements are unlevel, because if you keep going over bumps, it certainly makes my shoulders and back ache. And the other part, of course, is people don't see you when you low down with 3 wheels. So instead of people waiting for you to come past, you find yourself waiting and letting them go past, and then they're all smiles and apology. So things take twice as long to shop, but I get around and people on the whole are very, very friendly.
What I don't like about Newcastle is the stone blocks at the bottom of Ormond Street. I don't like coming in Newcastle night and there's drunks, and there should be more safe spaces, more safe places. I like coming to the library because it's a safe place, because if I have a problem in Newcastle, I can talk to my staff and then ring for me mum.
I think seats in the street is another issue, because often people will just want to sit down for a bit, not necessarily paying to buy a cup of coffee at a pavement cafe, but just to have somewhere to sit, sometimes to sort out your parcels and make sure that you can continue on your route. I think really seats with a back are most popular, and if possible with an arm to help you get up and down from the seat. And it's good if seats are placed so that people can have conversations with each other. There's a current trend to have people sitting back to back.
If, say, you started at the monument and you wanted to go to somewhere like McDonald's, which is quite a usual thing for young people to do, you've got to pass quite a few pubs, and if it's quite late in the afternoon, you would feel deterred that might be some quite violent people on the way to where you want to go.
So then you decide to go to the furthest away instead of going to one that's closer to you because of their pubs. Because I've done that before where I've tried to dodge certain places and it took us about 15 more minutes to get to that certain place.
Don't people also, during late afternoons when most movies end, we're also quite at the gate, and at the top of the gate there's a cinema. So if you went there at around lunchtime, then you saw the movie and then came down, there would be a few people at the bars already drinking. And if you saw it in the middle of the afternoon, there'd be quite a few people at the bars. So you'd have to plan well if you weren't to meet those people.
Well, I think one thing which is very often mentioned is pedestrian crossing times, and in particular the length of time that the green man is showing. In fact, at one time we thought of inventing a game, Beat the Green Man, to see if you could get across in time. We did actually time all the pedestrian crossings and really tried to get some extension. I think we got 2 crossings extended by a few seconds, but I think the problem still remains that it's one of the barriers to getting round the city.
The other thing that would be very good was when you're waiting at bus stops. I don't know if you've been to London, where they have
Yes, I was there recently,
illuminated
yes.
signs, and they let you know which bus is coming and when it's coming.
Well, that makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because if you've got 10 minutes to wait, then you know you've got 10 minutes to wait. I find it very difficult seeing the numbers on buses until they're very close, and then well, it's a bit annoying if you suddenly stick your hand out to stop the bus.
Yes. I saw this bus driver helping this disabled lady in a wheelchair off the bus, and he was magnificent. He got out a folding ramp, put it down, and helped her to exit, and there she was, off in Newcastle for the afternoon.
Oh, it makes such a difference to people if they can get out of the house and have the freedom. So that's very good. So please don't take our bus passes.
But bus passes forever.
On the question of buggies and things, I think the shops and things came before the buggies, but I think in the future that I have to realise that people are getting older, we are going to be more motorised. One shop I went in, it said no buggies, and I thought, well, here we go, we'll take the buggy in. And I found out why, because as you went between the fixtures, you took the clothes with you, so that proved the point, you know. When they say no buggies, that's what, but they've got to rethink that people aren't going to be as mobile unless they do better surgery, you know, and get us more organised. But I can't see it, because mums have the same problem with their children. I think we have a lot of affinity. I think the only reason I got the buses organised on my route from 2 steps to 1, so they could bring it down to the gutter level, is because I said there was a new school opening and there'd be lots of mums with prams and buggies, and I think that sort of swayed it, you know.
I would like, when we go to Spain and when we go to Tenerife, the big department stores there have a cloakroom next to the entrance where you can leave your umbrella, leave your coat, and when you make purchases you take them down and leave them there.
So you're shopping without any...
Without having to carry all the shopping, so you don't get tired and you go and spend more money and buy more things. And,
Yes, they should adopt that. Yeah.
so I would love to see that. That would make a big difference.
I think we should have more buildings like Space too, as it's got most of the things that young people about our age really would like in a social space. Computers, games, that sort of thing.
And I've noticed, yeah, fair enough, they get about 100 people in a day, but there is still some people who don't know where that area is. That area is mainly for the old folks, so it's not really in a place that young people would actually want to go around.
The place where I go most often is in the Granger Market to shop, where you can really buy fresh food in any quantity. You don't have to go for multi-buys in supermarkets. You can get just what you want, nice and fresh and at a reasonable price. I like the building and the whole air of it in a sort of traditional shopping place.
Now that I've retired, I find I spend a lot of my time in the city centre with my friends, and we just sit in the cafes and drink tea and watch people go past, and it's great fun because we moan about everything, and and that seems to cheer us up. Funnily enough, when old people moan about things, they don't really get upset. It just makes them feel better, you see.